The Mutran Chronicles, Chapter 5. Wherever you may travel in this vast universe of ours, it is likely you will run across someone who will tell you that Tren Krom is no more than a myth, just a legend of antiquity, no more real than Ernak or any other figment of the imagination. Setting foot upon his island will not bring terrible consequences, they insist, just a pleasant walk on a rocky beach. To those beings, of course, I say, what would you like for your memorial upon your death, so I can start planning it now? For it is a well-known fact to those who know it well, that Tren Krom is no myth. He is older than the stars themselves, born in a time when there was no Matanui, no Makuta, only never-ending darkness that encompassed all. He walked through a universe in the throes of its birth, and even the shadows feared him. To meet Tren Krom was to court madness, or worse. So naturally, the Brotherhood chose me to seek him out. The reason for this meeting was obvious. The Brotherhood could not allow a being of such power to dwell unchecked in our universe. We had to know his intent, and whether he posed a threat to the lands we watched over. Thus, I followed a trail of half-remembered stories told by the mad, until I reached the shore of an island whose shores had not welcomed a visitor in millennia. In the interest of writing a complete record, I should include every detail of my time there. In the interest of the sanity of anyone reading this, I will not. Even when I look back now, I remember only a scarlet mass, a face that was not a face, tentacles lined with tiny sharpened hooks, eyes that were little more than holes in a gelatinous skull. And that voice, that voice made Makuta Pterodax sound lilting and sweet. I expected to die. When Tren Krom's mind touched mine, and I saw the reality of what he was, I almost wanted to perish in that moment. Better that than to live with the memory. But he saw something in my thoughts that must have intrigued him. Hard to imagine what it might have been, given how alien he was to any form of life. Rather than crush me in his grasp, Tren Krom explored my consciousness, like an archives mole rooting about for a meal. It was amazing. It was horrifying. It was a view into a mind as far beyond mine as mine is beyond a firefly's. And it was feeling my mind turn into a nest of serpents, hissing and slithering and trailing slime. Then everything went black. When I awoke again, I lay on the deserted beach. There was no sign of Tren Krom, or even the cavern in which I had encountered him. I thought perhaps the whole thing had been a nightmare, some trick of my fellow Makuta. And then I knew it could not be. For I understood now. I knew how the universe worked. And as much as my mind could stand, why the universe worked. And I knew one thing more. That Makuta Pterodax's mad dreams of overthrowing the Great Spirit Matanui were not just fantasies. It was possible. It could work. The knowledge I held was the ammunition for the weapon Pterodax would one day wield. A weapon that would win us a universe. To be continued.